Ready? Yep. Okay, I'm here at the Coomera BP, giving out cakes to truckies for my birthday, getting cakes for comments. Let's see what they have to say. Thank you, sir. Would you like to make a comment on the industry?
It's always been the same and it'll never change.
Would you be surprised there's only 21 parking bays in the state of Queensland?
Not at all.
You a member of the union?
No.
Well, please have a look at my stuff. It's called Transport Inquiry Podcast on YouTube and Facebook.
Yep. No, I was in the union once, but never again.
Well, I'm taking over the union, mate, so... But it's my birthday. Please enjoy. Have a look at my stuff. I gave evidence to the Senate Inquiry into road transport a week ago. Check it out. They're looking for truck drivers to get involved. Send them an email about the conditions and standards.
I will. I'll do that for you.
Thank you, sir.
Real quick, what's the one thing you would, if you could have anything in the industry improve, what's the area you would like to improve?
I think the main problem this industry's got is that the big companies run it, and it's all about profit. It's not about nothing else. I own this company.
Oh, really? Thank you. My name's Stephen Corcoran. Good, thank you. I'd be very interested to sit down and have a formal conversation. Would you be interested in that?
Yeah, be right.
Yeah, just cut it. Yeah. All right, we're going to go a bit formal. What would you say to the politicians that are holding this Senate inquiry into road transport that we really need out here?
They need to fix the roads and do what they promised to do 40 years ago and spend the money where it should be spent.
Are you finding it hard to keep staff?
No, not at all. Most of my staff have been moved for years.
But can you understand why it's turn and burn and they put bums in seats in these other companies and they just don't care because they're looking at that 1-2% on the dollar?
The problem being is most companies have so much debt, so the issue is they've got to turn kilometres to make their money, so that the trucks have to move. And most companies in our industry are debt-ridden, something terrible. And it's caused by these. They want to have new trucks all the time. Well, if you've got all new trucks, the dollar bill's running your business.
Even the major carriers, their fleets seem to be falling apart at the moment because they're tight on margins. You can see it going through the whole industry, and that's what's causing these fatigue-related crashes, and then there's no infrastructure. How do we get past that first hurdle of making them listen?
I think the problem is you've got to get past this problem of saying it's fatigue-related crashes. Because the issue being is in my time we used to be doing 18, 20 hours a day. Now everybody does 12 to 14 maximum. So there's no reason for fatigue-related crashes. But the issue being a lot of drivers do not spend their downtime doing what they're supposed to be doing, resting. They've got they go shopping, they go with their families, they do this, they do that.
They live two lives.
That's exactly right.
And the fatigue they get on the road, they don't recover when they're at home on the weekend because they're trying to spend it with their wife.
Well, they're doing what everybody else is. They want to go out on weekends and all the rest of it. But the issue being is if you're driving every night, which a lot of them are, you've got to get your rest somewhere. And the other issue is you go to all these truck stops in the daytime, they're all wandering around, talking, yakking, whatever else. They're not going to bed.
They're not incentivised to have a duty of care MO, are they? They're just working to the book to max out their hours to try and make some coin.
Yeah, dollar bills. That's all they're doing. And the only reason they're in this industry because the pay's good. They can do good at that.
Well, it used to be.
No, they earn good money still.
Well, some of them do. I mean, I read it.
If they get paid properly, they earn good money.
I mean, you look after your drivers and your equipment, but there's some operations out there that are charging $55 an hour for semi-trailer hire in total max for the driver, the truck, the trailer, the fuel, the tolls and all the running costs. It's unsustainable, isn't it?
Well, if a politicians want to sit down with someone who knows the numbers and crunch the numbers on any transport company, they can soon see if they're profitable or what the hell's going on. Because we all have to pay the same for fuel, we all have to pay the same for wages, we all have to pay the same to buy these trucks. So where can you save the money? There's no savings in it. The only thing you can do is utilise your equipment to the maximum, and that's the only advantage anybody's got, because we all pay for fuel. Like, you can't go to BP in here and tell them you're doing it tough and you're going to pay 10 cents a litre cheaper, can you?
How much is the coronavirus restrictions affecting your staff and your business?
Not at all. What I've done with my staff, all my guys who run Sydney only come back as far as Ballina. The guys from Ballina only go to Brisbane, back to Ballina, and all my North Queensland drivers do not come past Brisbane. So all it's meant is I've just segregated them all out so they're all safe.
The camera technology that you run on your trucks, how much advancement has it given your business over other competitors with insurance and also keeping your drivers safe?
What it's done, it keeps everybody honest. The other road users are honest because they can't lie to me. My drivers can't lie to me because those cameras, I've got 5 on every truck. I can download, they hold 49 days of footage. So whatever happens within 49 days, I've got footage of all the time. You know, I wouldn't have an interstate truck on the road without cameras all over it.
But your driver retention rate is almost 100%. So it just goes to show that through the use of technology and having a driver welfare outcome MO in your company has kept your drivers alive and safe and your LTI right down, hasn't it?
Exactly right. Our accident rate's next to nothing. My insurance is unbelievably cheap for what the amount of trucks I own. But I don't push. My drivers do their hours, but their rest periods are there, their weekends are off, they're in motels.
They're a professional crew.
Yeah, they are.
Do you run a C&I machine tech in your trucks looking at the drivers? Is that something that you would be interested in putting in the truck if they remove the work diary and put in a fatigue machine?
No, not interested at all. It's not needed. You know. All this technology only makes other people richer. Like all these guys roam around trying to sell all this rubbish. If you're doing your job properly and your drivers are doing the right hours and the gear's good, you don't need all this rubbish.
It's hard when you're the highest common denominator and you're working against the lowest common denominator and they're going to legislate to the lowest common denominator. So the chain of responsibility legislation hasn't worked and the punitive measures of the NHVR have driven the standards down. I've put in that there should be a Federal Motor Carrier Safety Act that accredits the road and make sure it's compliant first. What do you think about that?
I think while things are competitive, you'll never achieve any of that. Because the issue being is it's like every other business in this country, it's a cutthroat business. Some people will cut corners. Unless the penalties are a lot higher for those that are cutting corners, you're never going to stop it. And these labour hire companies are probably the worst problem that we've got at the moment because they take no responsibility for nothing. It's too easy for a bigger company to put a labour hire driver in a truck and deny all responsibility.
I've put that we need to accredit companies to work on the accredited network. Your company, of course, would get an RPL and your drivers would get an RPL accreditation. This is how we get the parasites out, isn't it? We accredit them out by making that they can't work against you.
Yeah, but we've been there before with all that. We've got all these accreditations and none of it works.
But we need something different, a watchdog with teeth that's going to actually enforce it and get rid of the parasites.
No, we need a minimum rate that everyone's got to work for. And if you're able to charge a little bit more above that, good luck to you if you give a better service. But there should be a minimum charge like a taxi company.
Did you hear that, people? All right. Stay tuned. More to come. Happy birthday, everyone.